Yes, so I'm trying to prepare this video just to help you and guide you again in case you guys were overwhelmed. The first practice we didn't have enough time to spend on it. So first thing I want to review again with what we did is just to what we went over is these three panels, important panels on top, and then the fourth one on the bottom part. That we on the left one we have scripts, documents, and assets. On the scripts, if you have already written your script, it's going to show up here. If you have nothing written, you just created your account and logged in, it's going to be shown as empty. Then there are also some examples given on here by Google Earth Engine. You can easily adopt them for some exercises like NDVI or normalized difference, hill shape, land cover cleanup, and stuff like that. So these are the examples that are there. On the documents, what you see, there are a bunch of functions that are added there, including what the functions that we used in for date, for filtering the date, we used this function, or the other function we used was the image or image collection, the geometry, and filter. So these are all inside the Google the documents part. You can click on them and then go over and see examples on how to work with them to explain everything. So and then assets, I mentioned that if you have data sets, other than not the scripts, the data sets that are not on Google Earth Engine server, you can upload them in here and then you can share it with everybody else. So we're not going to touch that. Over here on the middle panel, we have the script we can type in. And on the right side here, we have inspector, which you can click on a coordinate of any point and inspect it. Or what layer is that, what's its information, and so on. So far, but there is no layer. I have not added any image into it. When I click here, it just tells me this is a point and its coordinates are longitude-wise -74, and its latitude is 40.9. On the console, you can display and see whatever you ask in the script to print out. So if you calculate a variable and then you want it to print out, then you can do it here. What we practiced in class was we just said, let's do that. We can just say print and then say Honors Academy, for instance, AHA. It's going to show up here. I'm going to add in the semicolon at the end, and then if I want to do that, I will click on the run. It's going to show up on the console here. And then the tasks, we're not going to touch on this semester because when you ask some specific tasks for the script to do, it's going to show up over here. Okay, so the inspector and console are the ones that we basically most of the time use. What we started is, okay, so we want to look into the a sample image, satellite image. We picked Sentinel-2, which was Copernicus collection of the ESA, European State Satellite Agency. And we want to look at one of them and then see how does it look like in a given time, which was this year, May or June time, and also on a specific location, on our campus location. So first thing to do is just to filter the area of interest and then filter the date of interest. So for that, you have options. You can either obtain the coordinates of the point by going to inspector layer and then get its coordinates and then copy that here. Or another way to do is just to draw a polygon here with the geometry layer, right? And then polygon, so I picked on the rectangle, it's going to be a rectangle layer. And then just pick in first and last points here. I drew a rectangle, so that's going to show me the four vertices that I have. Okay, so as you notice, this geometry layer, it's a layer that I added here. It's not in my script. it's not a variable actually inside the script, so it's like an import. So if you want to share your script with somebody else to run it, only part that's going to be shared is the script part, not the import layers. So if you do it this way, you can't run analysis on it, and the person won't see it. So what I suggest is just to copy the coordinates of these pixels, this area of interest. So there are 5 here. First and last should be almost the same, because that's the beginning and then end point here. So you can just give the coordinates, copy these coordinates from here, and then add it as a variable into my script. And then I can get rid of the import layer there. So to do that, I'm going to add in a layer. So this is area of interest. I'm trying to filter it by area of interest, so I'm going to comment it. And then I'm going to write its variable equals variable. What variable is this? This is my area of interest. I can call it campus, just like we did in class, or you can call it bridge. Doesn't matter in this case. Bridge is a name that we give to it. I'm going to write variable bridge is EE dot geometry dot polygon. So how do I know how to type this? I can go to the docs and then find the geometry function, and then find out if it's polygon, how should I type in ee.geometry.polygon. So you need to give the coordinates if they're projection. If you don't give projection, that's going to be the global projection, so don't worry about that. And then coordinates are going to be all inside see a latitude, longitude of the point A, B, C. So first you need to give the longitude and then latitude there with commas. Okay, so I'm going to copy that here inside the parentheses. Did I copy them? Copy, but not those numbers for the pixels, right? So latitude, longitude, latitude, longitude, latitude. And I'm going to get rid of these numbers here with the comma. If you put in bracket, it's going to help you not to confuse which point is this. So this helps me here to pick that. Oh, that's my first point. This is my second point, right? And so on. And then I'm going to put in here comma again, another comma. And I am done with my points. Right, I believe all I need is the semicolon at the end. And then, okay, so what I forgot is just I need to add in another bracket for the beginning and the end on here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I closed my bridge can be converted to an image. Okay, so done. You don't see any error message. That means it's okay. Now I can add this variable that I created here, but on here. So let me get rid of the import layer first. I deleted that, and now I have a variable called bridge. So I'm going to display it in my map. So to do that, I will look into mapping tools here. Map add layer. So because it's a layer, I have to click in here, right? So that also tells you how to do it. So I'm gonna click in map dot add, which all small letter, and then layer, map add layer, and then I'm gonna just write what variable I want to show and display in here, and that's the variable I just created, bridge. You can give it what color do you want to display with, the opacity, visibility, and there are other parameters that we want to do. We just want to stick with the basics of the semicolon at the end and run. So now it shows with the default color, gray color. That's the bridge. So next we want also, I'm going to comment here, I'm going to also filter by date. To do that, we need to create 2 more other variables for the beginning and then end date. So for the beginning, I write a variable, I name it start, variable start equals to, so how do I know which function should I use? That is going to be, this is variable, it's not layer. So I have to add in a EE in the beginning anyway. And it is filter or date, right? So now it's by date. I'm going to just say this is the date from this to that. You can also pick it like that, whichever one of these you go is fine. I'm going to go with just date, ee.date, and then inside the parentheses write the date, ee date. Oops, it's not active. And then that is 2019 5/01. That's my beginning date, and then my end date, I can copy this and repeat it, call it end, and that would be, let's say, June 1st, and then hit run. So now these are my new variables. I'm ready to go to the image collection, search for data sets, satellite data sets, and then filter them over this area and on a given time. So there we're gonna search for Sentinel-2, Sentinel. Here we want to look into the level 2 as well. Don't click on the import here. You can import it, but if you import, it's gonna come up as a, you see, as an import layer. So that won't help you as a variable. So let me just delete that, erase that, and then go back to the Sentinel-2, and just, because this is image collection ID, if you know the exact date of an image, a specific given image, like this one in here, like this one, then you can just say that is an ee.image function, use that function. But if you don't know that, you have to use this is image collection, and you want to just search on the image collection what date you're looking for, the function is going to be image collection. So I'm going to copy this collection ID, which is from the Copernicus collection of the ESA, and then Sentinel-2 surface reflectance. So right here I'm going to write, type in my new variable is the image. So I'm calling it image equals to, variable, don't forget, variable image equals to ee.image collection. If I forget even how to type it, I can find in here. So it's capital I. It's very sensitive to collection. Okay, sensitive. Now I'm going to write in, paste in the collection ID. So because it's in a string, I have to put it inside the comma. All right, so that is this. Now I can filter this by the date and by the boundary layer, by my area of interest. Or when I map it, I can do. Okay, so I have sorted it based on the date and location and cloud coverage. I'm doing that. So if I do that, let me just do that again. Filter by date. Filter by date, and then we mention start to end. I haven't put the semicolon here, so my statement is done there. That's why it's going to the next line. I am intentionally not putting the semicolon again here. And then I'm filtering by bound. If you forget, filter by bound. It's right there. Bounds, B-O-N-D-S. So bounds, and I want to say what is the location I want to filter based on my area of interest, which I call that bridge. And then I want to also get the best quality image. So right now I'm just going to look into the first one, and then I'll show you how to look into the quality layer and then narrow it down. So based on that, let's leave it here. and I'm going to call this function, this variable that I just called in print image, and let's see how it looks like, right? Print image. It's going to print out my image layer, Copernicus, and this is basically the first image, so it's on May 1st, and its time is 15, it's 3 p.m. The bands are here listed there, and then properties are right here. If you look in here, on May 1st, the property of the image is 99.5% cloudy. So it's not a good image if I want to look into. You can also look into and then see how it does look like. Map add layer, add layer. I think there was a point between them. If I forget, again I can search it on here and then find it, go back to map add layer is here, and copy the properties, map add layer, and I want to map add layer the image, and I want to layer what the bands. So I have to mention which bands I want to add in here. The bands are, okay, I have to put that in the curly bracket, and then mention bands are inside the bracket now, B4 for red, B4 for red, B3 for green, and B2 for blue. And you can also mention what is the maximum range of the values that you want to put. Usually these are digital numbers from 0 to 2000, so I'm gonna scale my visualization, scale it, the colors to vary from 0 to 2000. And then I can also give a name to the layer so I can easily differentiate that. This layer I would call it Sentinel-2. Yeah, if you want to add in later on Landsat, you can call that Landsat. So when you run this, because this first image is 99% cloudy, it's going to show up with a cloudy image. As you see, when I run it, it comes in a first very white pixel image because it's all cloudy. Oh, I forgot to clip it. Let me add it in here. So image, it's better representation if I just clip it to the area of interest I have when I map it just for the visualization purposes. Okay, so it's going to be clipped in here, and that's all white. I want to look into the property of the image. I was looking at the cloud coverage assessment, and then I want to sort based on that, and so that way I look into only least cloudy image. So I'm now narrowing this image into picking the one that is least cloudy. So sort based on double quote cloud coverage assessment, and then first one. Now you run it, the image is not going to be cloudy, and this is what it looks like. I think that's all I got. I have my layer that's shown in here, Sentinel-2, and I have its, the scale is from 0 to 2000. These are my RGB bands, and I can display it. You can print screen this and then send it for the homework practice with your, of course, share the link, get link of this, and then you can manage it, copy the link, or from here, or yes, on the address bar of your browser, get the link, and then put it on a Word file and share it with us. Now when we run it, we can see the same thing as you see how it looks like today. That's all I got. Thank you.